Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Teleislas News, the most important news of the day. According to the Ministry of Energy, changes will begin to be implemented in the formulas of biodiesel-based fuel throughout the country. These changes will begin in the archipelago from October 2021.
Through a communique, the dimar informed the community about the future atmospheric events that will be presented for the hurricane season in 2021. In its press release, the dimar cited research.
In order to improve the quality of the fuels consumed in the country and ensure that the fuel distribution sector is strengthened as a strategic ally of Colombia's sustainable development, the Ministry of Mines and Energy, together with the Ministries of Environment and Sustainable Development and of Agriculture and Rural Development, determined that the percentage of biodiesel presented in the fossil diesel fuel consumed in the archipelago will increase from 10% to 12% as of April 2021.
Specifically in the archipelago of San Andres, Old Providence, and Santa Catalina, the 12% blends of biodiesel with ACPM will begin to be implemented as of October of this year. This means that each gallon or liter of diesel fuels or ACPM that islanders buy at service stations will be composed of 88% diesel fuels and 12% biodiesel, which in Colombia is produced from palm oil. In the department, the blends of ethanol with gasoline will also begin to govern. This measure must be implemented gradually. The blends will be 5% from October 2021 and 10% from April 2022. Each gallon or liter of gasoline will be composed of 90% gasoline and 10% ethanol, which is produced based on sugarcane in Colombia.
With the increase of blends to B12, islanders will have more environmentally friendly fuels and better air quality, contributing to meeting the national government's goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 51% by 2030, as indicated by the Ministry of Mines. Likewise, Colombia is the second country in the world with the highest percentage of biodiesel blends, promoting the use of cleaner technologies.
It is important to know the weather forecast so that the community can be aware and take the respective precautions in their homes and with other belongings. This report explains some important information provided by the General Maritime Directorate, DIMAR.
Through a communique, the dimar informed the community about the future atmospheric events that will be presented for the hurricane season in 2021. In its press release, the dimar cited research by the University of Colorado, which explains that the hurricane season, which will begin in June, will be more active than in previous year between 1981 and 2010, where 17 tropical storms, 8 hurricanes, and 4 hurricanes of higher categories between 3 and 5 will be presented this year. In the same line and within the argumentation of why the forecasts show greater activity, the DIMAR explained that they are based on statistical model complied in the last 38 years, where their characteristic shows that the warm condition in the Atlantic Ocean will generate a greater heat potential for the generation of tropical cyclones. Finally, the Maritime General Directorate explained that they will keep the community informed through the media and the CO website about the changes that are shown through its forecast system, meteorological network, and buoys, whose function allow the measurement of marine meteorological parameters in the Caribbean. It should be noted that the community has expressed its concern about what awaits the island, and the government has already been preparing to take the respective precaution through meetings with the competent authorities and the progress in the reconstruction, which is what worries the islanders the most.
And in order to avoid COVID contagions among the population of the department, the Secretariat of Education has provided a virtual tool for the community where they can make complaints, requests, and questions to be resolved by officials from the Secretariat of Education's office.
Under the theme, it is better to wait in line than to take home the COVID-19. The Secretariat of Education invites the community to take their complaints with confidence, confidentiality, and amplitude through the citizen attention system as a safe method of adopting the biosecurity measures. If the community has any complaint, claim, or denounce on education issue, it is not necessary to physically go to the Secretariat. It can be done online through the website page www.censanandres.gov.co and then click on the option Citizen Service virtual window. The S.A.C is a tool that allows citizens to register their petition, complaints, claim requests, and denounce through the different service channels available for this purpose. This can be done from the comfort of your home, office, or any place where you have internet access, either from your cell phone or computer, and you can also track the status of such requirements. It should be noted that if you have any suggestion or compliments regarding the educational sector, you can also do so by sending a message to the institutional email educacion@sanandres.gov.co.
And we take stock of how the increase of the coronavirus is going in our department. In the few last hours, cases were added to the national count.
In the last report issued by the National Health Ministry, our department added 30 new cases of COVID-19, leaving a total of 2,986 cases reported since the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic. While the latest report issued by the Secretary of Health at the local level shows that there are 96 active cases in our department, 88 of these in San Andres and 8 in the municipality of Full Providence. It also shows that there are 38 cases that, when added together, leave a total of 134 active cases. It is worth mentioning that these cases correspond to the value of the active cases that are not yet being added to the national report of the National Institute of Health. The latest local report shows that the cases are grouped in the following sectors: Naval Base, Ceribia, Morislandi, Perry Hill, San Luis, Swamp Ground, Bay, Las Palmas, Lux Bay, Guinea Hen, and Tam Hooker. The number of deaths to date is 47, and the UCI occupancy rate is 12%. Currently on the island, the vaccination plan is as follows: 5,488 doses applied.
And the Secretary of Social Development announced that they will resume the characterization or profile of homeless people in order to know how they are and what are their specific needs.
Hello, Lisa and all the TV viewers. Teleislas News talked to the Social Development Secretary, Marta Patricia Moreno, who told us that they are going to make a characterization of the people who are currently living on the road. She said that this is important to know in which situation they are, or maybe if they have any mental discapacity.
Desarrollo Social hizo el año pasado cuando...
Last year, the Secretariat of Social Development made a profile where 30 homeless people were identified. Approximately 15 were homeless and others were on the street but had a place to live. After the passage of Hurricane Iota, we have found more vulnerable people on the street every day, and also psychiatric people. Here it is worth mentioning that the Secretariat of Social Development manages the homeless program, but the Secretariat of Health manages a special program for these psychiatric people.
The call that the Secretary do to all the families of these people that maybe are living on the road is to mind them and to know their situation, to understand them, and to help them come out of this.
Esto se está grabando porque es que
This is getting worse. We have lost a sense of family support. Many of them have their relatives here, and their relatives do not want them. Even though we have a team of doctors, social workers, psychologists that are constantly working, these people do not have that family support and environment that would provide the proper shelter for these homeless people.
The Secretary mentioned that this characterization is very important to understand specifically what these people are passing through, to can also carry them to the different entities that can treat them and help them come out of this situation. This is all the information I report from here, from the town of the island. Continue, Lisa, in the studio.
Thank you, Alice. And in other news, the post-consumer waste collected during the 3 days of recollection campaign has already been evacuated from the archipelago for its correct disposal.
The Colombian Air Force was one of the entities that provided support to the post-consumer collection campaign carried out on the island. The uniformed officials were able to extract and transfer this waste to the city of Bogota, where it will be treated.
Your Colombian Air Force achieved the transfer of approximately 4 tons of post-consumer waste from the island, making use of the aircraft Jupiter Casa and the Hercules, where we can attest to this collection campaign that was carried out on April 7, 8, and 9 here on the island of San Andres.
The Air Force provided a report on the post-consumer waste collected in the municipality of Full Providence, which was expired medicines, batteries, and pesticide containers.
In Old Providence, we were able to collect approximately 40 or 50 kilograms of post-consumer material that was also transferred from Old Providence to San Andres, so that it could be transferred again to Bogota in order to be integrated into a production chain later on.
On the other hand, the Air Force transferred a fire truck from the city of Bogota to San Andres. This vehicle is destined for the island of Old Providence, and it is expected that in the coming days, it will be the National Navy who will transfer it by sea to the municipality.
Now we continue with all the sport news of our department.
Hello, here are the best sports of the islands. Due to the third peak of the pandemic, football teachers and coaches are concerned about sports activities with children. Football coaches show concern about the stoppage of sports activities in the island department. Because of these activities, the vast majority of trainers subsist and make a daily living to provide bread to their homes. This is how Ariel Torres put it.
Mi preocupación es, yo, por lo menos.
My concern is the following. I manage 150 children. I do not have a contract. We do not have a stable income to live from. In my club, we have a work plan, for example. If the first one fails me, I must have a plan B. My question is, what is the plan they have for us coaches that are stopping our practices due to this pandemic? For us, the soccer coaches, if they start sports activities, we have nothing to do and the children have nothing to do. What are we going to do? What are we going to live off from? What are they going to do?
Another who expressed his concern is Marcos Zúñiga.
Estamos un poco preocupados porque que en el año de pandemia 2020 tuvimos muchos problemas.
We are a little worried because in 2020, the year of the pandemic, we had many economic problems. So we are asking the departmental government to let us continue to work in the area of sports, not only in soccer, but in all the sports that are receiving communiques saying they must stop. And we are hearing in all the media outlets that sport is health and that sport can mitigate the COVID or lower the intensity of COVID through exercise.
It should be noted that the country is in the third peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is why some departments are more strict with the development of various activities. The beach handball exchange are loved and entertained by foreign tourists and the coaches. The beach handball exchange between Bolivar, Bogotá, and San Andres satisfy coaches and tourists who visit our island archipelago. This was stated by the Cuban coach Álvaro Olivera, who comes from working in the Venezuela League and today represents the department of Bolivar.
Hay jugadores que tienen mucho futuro.
Here there are players who have a lot of future, specifically youth. This sport, speaking from the viewpoint of Olympic competitions, as it has been demonstrated, is going to become a sport of the future in this country. So we will dedicate a little more time to it. The level of the San Andrean player comes in their blood. It is something that is coming from many years back. In fact, from the information I have, they are the current champions of the country. They have it in their blood and a lot of future in this sport. Let's hope that they continue like this and help in the development of the beach handball in Colombia.
Some tourists also gave their opinion. Camilo Alvina from Popayan.
Muy chévere, las peladas se ven que tienen mucho entreno, que son peladas.
Great. It is a new sport for us. The first time we come to the island of San Andres, and we have seen new things that are not seen in Cauca.
And also tourists from Chocó.
Excelente, es algo nuevo para.
Excellent. It is something new for us. We have never had the opportunity to see it.
A total satisfaction as expressed by different tourists with beach handball in San Andres. This is all in sports for the moment. I am Victor Fusalba, Teleislas News.